Hey guys, what's going on? This is Word here, and I'm back with the cast after a little bit of an absence. I've been very busy with work and other casting duties, as a matter of fact, to unfortunately get one up on the channel. But I officially have time now, so of course I'll be doing a game for you. And this game should be pretty good. Up here in the upper left, the red Zerg, he is EG's IdrA. And in the bottom right, spawning as a barcode, but the fact of the matter is, it is Root's LeiYa. And she is going to be the blue Protoss here in the bottom right. We are going to be here on Ohana. It's a PvZ. It is Wings of Liberty, as you can pretty much tell by the fact that the worker thing isn't there. Now, I'm going to be casting more and more Heart of the Swarm very soon, but yeah, we see here LeiYa actually asking, you're playing Wings of Liberty? Why? And apparently Heart of the Swarm was down at this time, as it does tend to go down every now and then for various maintenance, patching issues, stuff like that. So like I was saying, I'm going to be switching over to Heart of the Swarm pretty much entirely, as is the rest of the StarCraft world, very, very soon. But for now, just going to cast some Wings of Liberty. And, I mean, I can get lots of Heart of the Swarm replays, so it's not like it's a shortage or anything. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to be... Soon enough, casting these are going to be nostalgic. It's like, oh, Wings of Liberty, I remember that game. Well, maybe I'll cast one for the hell of it. That's going to be an interesting day, and it is going to be happening pretty soon, but until then, this is going to be kind of a cast that we're mostly used to. So we see here that LeiYa has thrown down the pylon for the Forge Fast expansion. The meta for Wings of Liberty, Protoss versus Zerg, hasn't changed too much, except Protosses really do like to throw on earlier pressure than, say, maybe just Stargate. Like, a lot of the times, you'll see a Protoss go out here with a pylon, or not a pylon, a Zealot and a Stalker, maybe a Probe to fake pylon aggression. I know Minigun likes to do that very much. We'll see if LeiYa likes to do that as well. Of course, she is on the same team as Minigun, so it's likely they have possibly similar styles. Now, the last game I casted from LeiYa was actually LeiYa versus Noni. It was a very good PvP. Like, it was a really cool game. Very well played by LeiYa. I definitely recommend it. It is on the channel pretty recently there. And speaking of the channel, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't, guys. It really does help me. And once I get up to 200 subscribers, I will be getting a partnership, which will allow me to customize the channel further, make it better, easier, better looking for you. I know the background right now is not like the most exciting thing in the world, and I want to customize the channel and make it look really nice. So just make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Would really be helpful. We see here that LeiYa is doing just the most standard build you can do off for a Forge Fest. Expand Nexus first, Forge, then Gateway, get a pylon down, get a cannon down. This way you can grab your gases in the next 20-30 seconds or so. And it looks like she has gone for the pylon block over at IdrA's expansion. Now, some Zergs will react by going ahead and throwing it right over at the third. However, IdrA saw that LeiYa had gone ahead and sent the probe over there, so he decided, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and block, or get rid of this pylon instead. Not going to waste my time getting blocked, and obviously LeiYa will have to cancel this, but it's still annoying, still slowing him down a bit more. The thing is, not a lot of pros like to pylon block anymore because it does interfere with your build's timings, especially before you get the Forge and Gateway down. The pylon block on the third I don't mind as much, just because she already had this stuff down, so really no time wasted on that. But here, unless you're comfortable with it, it can be a little bit of a slower downer. Now, this Overlord here has seen absolutely everything, so IdrA knows what he is up against. And I would like to see some Muta play from IdrA here. Ohana, not the best map for it in the world, but IdrA is really good with Mutas. I don't see him use them a lot in PvZ, though. Or ZVP, rather. But that could just be because I don't watch IdrA too much. I know he does stream a lot, but he's been streaming Heart of the Swarm lately, of course, which I really should start to watch. I've been very busy watching a lot of the Clarity players stream because, well, I really want to learn all their playstyles and stuff, and their streams are very accessible. Now, what is going on in the Protoss space? Nothing too special. We see that LeiYa is going to send the Zealot out. Ooh, we actually see a double Forge go down right in the front here. Now, I definitely like this style, but that Forge placement is, number one, it's just a dead giveaway of the fact that double Forge is happening, and two, it's very easy to get picked off if there's like one Overlord here and you have a few Roaches. So that's something that might come back to bite LeiYa in the near future. We're going to have to see if IdrA decides to be aggressive, and we'll see what she does behind this. Double Forge is a cool style you don't see a lot, but it's definitely out there. I know Saravati of Clarity Gaming does it, and well, I'm trying to look more into it because it's not something I see a lot. So obviously the double upgrades are going to be starting, and we'll see if there's usually not going to be too much aggression following this up. I mean, you can do the 1-1 push, and since we do have these two upgrades starting at the same time, it's likely that LeiYa is going to be looking for a certain timing. And we'll have to get a gateway count pretty soon. Obviously, there's no tech right now because the gas is going to be spent on those upgrades. We are going to see pylon spread all over this base, making sure no Nidus or anything can happen too crazily. But I believe, actually, did LeiYa get the confirmation? No, she actually did not get the confirmation on the 3rd. And that's a pretty important thing to get, even if, you know, you're not going to be able to get an observer out here. Do we have hallucination getting researched? No, of course, warp gate done now. It wouldn't surprise me if LeiYa got hallucination, because obviously you're skipping the robo at least a little bit. We do see the robo has gone down, but it's delayed a little. So you're going to want that scouting as soon as possible. And walling off with the Twilight Console in the front, too. So it looks like LeiYa's just going to have to count on this wall to stand for the rest of this game, because losing any of this tech here is going to slow her down immensely. Meanwhile, she's going to start working on those back rocks. Sentry's going to come in here to deny the scout of IdrA. IdrA doesn't see anything, hasn't seen the Forge, although it looks like he caught the tail end of that Chrono Boost, which is pretty interesting. And meanwhile, this Overlord can get sacked in pretty soon as well. LeiYa adding in a couple of gates. Meanwhile, back in IdrA's base, I haven't really been talking about IdrA too much, but that's because, you know, he's just playing the best style that he does, which is the kind of sit back and macro style. We are going to see a macro hatch go down here, so he could possibly be looking for that 12-minute max on Roaches and some Zerglings, but mostly Roaches that we have been seeing from Zergs for some time. And of course, we do have his Roach worn down. All his timings are very normal. I'm wondering how much he actually has to deal with the double Forge play, and I'm very interested to see its advantage. It's actually going for charge here. Zealots with sentries, with charge, with these upgrades, actually going to be very, very good versus Roaches, and that's an engagement I hope we get to see, because it's going to be very cool. It's gonna really depend on IdrA's reaction time. I mean, if you come up against a bunch of Zealots, you might go ahead and feel free to run in there with Roaches, but if you check those upgrades, and if you're not quick enough to do so, you might find yourself force-fielded in a fight they don't quite wish to take. Now, IdrA is saving up the larva. He's got 10 larva now. He's going to have quite a bit more once these hatches pop, and then you can start working on seriously pumping out units. We do have the +1 and the speed for both Roaches and Lings on the way. Do the Lings have +1 finish? No, they don't. Going right for that +1. He's going to bring some Lings out here. The Observer from LeiYa, actually not even going to go bother checking the 3rd. And at this point, that's reasonable, because if your opponent hasn't all-in'd by now, then they have almost certainly taken their 3rd. Meanwhile, this scout from IdrA is going to scout absolutely everything, and everything includes a total of 7 gateways in the main. That brings us up to a total of 9 for LeiYa. So obviously, with these double upgrades, going for a heavy gateway-based army, and it's actually a little bit greedy. I mean, you're operating purely off of Sentry here. This Roach Max could actually be pretty scary. IdrA is pumping out tons of Roaches and Lings right now. Absolutely has the capacity to be maxed out before 12 minutes, but he could just be going for it. Looks like a few Zealots going to get loaded up in here, and oh, Force Field's just a little bit too slow, and not really the best for LeiYa. Actually going to end up losing at least 1 Sentry here. Wastes a lot of Force Fields too, and of course, IdrA did scout that Warp Prism coming out. Going to warp in the Zealots. Charge does get revealed. However, with this amount of Sentries, it's not going to be too hard to block, and oh, it looks like all the probes here are going to be able to brought back, ran them out, because she thought the attack was going to get in, but did manage to force everything off. Meanwhile, this Warp Prism is going to be coming into the main base. We have Spinecrawler going down, because IdrA did see that, but it's not quite going to be quick enough. We have a lot of Zealots getting warped in, and this is very nice here from LeiYa, because she knows that the army of IdrA is completely all the way across the map, and sniping the lair could actually work out here, and it looks like I think it's going to. The Zealots have +2 weapons upgrades. The drones trying to do what they can, but the lair is definitely going to go down. Yeah, IdrA does lose that lair. Should be starting another one just as soon as he possibly can. But of course he loses the lair, and he loses the mining time as well. And I'm guessing State likes to do this style of build as well here. So we're seeing pure Zealot Sentry here. It's almost looking like a PvT, but a weird composition at that, because we have more Stalkers. We're going to see how well this can do against IdrA's plan here. But of course, losing that main, losing that tech is actually massively, it's a massive setback for IdrA. So he's going to be stuck on Roachling for quite a while. In fact, he can't even start his +2 upgrades because he lost that lair. So that is going to be morphing down at the natural. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism is going to be coming up here. We do have 2 Warp Prisms on the map. Not sure where the second one is. Oh, here it is. Looks like it was going for a warp in over at the 3rd. IdrA has taken his 4th, and LeiYa is going to scout that. Not too much she's going to be able to do about it, though, with most of her army back at home. Can't really warp in there. Going for the Immortals now, going straight into the Templar tech, as a matter of fact. This is a very interesting composition from our Protoss player. IdrA doing his best to deflect these Warp Prisms. They're going to sit back there, keep being annoying, to make sure that, you know, even though IdrA's behind, the best thing he could do right now is launch a successful counterattack. But LeiYa wants to keep these Warp Prisms here so that the moment IdrA does decide to move out, if he does, she can counterattack and do a whole lot of damage. So she's really got her bases covered. LeiYa's a very smart player. It's something I've noticed in a lot of her play. She really knows how to take positional advantage, and we are going to see IdrA moving out here. We'll see if LeiYa is able to do some damage. We do see the Warp Prism go immediately into phasing mode. Going to be warping some Zealots into the third base's mineral line, and really not a whole lot left to defend. Not even a spine crawler or anything like that. Meanwhile, this army is pure Zealot Sentry Mortal, and I feel like I'm saying meanwhile a lot. I'm going to try to cut back on that. IdrA is forced to be pulled back to deal with this potential drop. Actually, ooh, we have some Templar loaded in there. Could see a Storm drop a little bit later. Of course, we do have the Storm drop research on the way for LeiYa. It looks like this Overlord, without Stalkers, it's a little bit hard to deny, but you get enough sentries under it and it will die. I was playing a mono battle recently, and I ended up with getting mass sentry, and I managed to kill a couple battlecruisers with them. So I mean, enough sentries will kill anything; they'll tickle it right to death. Might not believe it, but battlecruisers can be pretty ticklish. However, I did end up losing that mono battle. Sentries, damn it, man! I got sentries. Now we have the potential for double storm drops, as we have 4 High Templars split between these 2 War Prisms. The Zealots up here are definitely going to deny those links. We see the upgrade advantage for LeiYa is absolutely huge. Coupled with that double forge that she went for in the beginning of the game, sniping that lair really slows IdrA down. Now we are going to see all these drones actually clustered together. It looks like the storm drop. Not going to manage to take any out, though. Are we going to see one back here? Even if it does manage to get off, I mean, at most going to kill 5 or 6 drones. There it goes. Does actually a good chunk of damage to these roaches. IdrA doesn't have burrow, so he's not going to be able to burrow and regen them very quickly. However, he is going to Hydralisks, which is very interesting. Based on the composition of LeiYa, I mean, I don't hate it. As long as you have the roaches to tank for the Hydras, of course, will rip apart any non-Colossus-based army. However, Storms are pretty good against Hydras as well. It's only going to take a Storm and a quarter to kill them. Of course, one Storm will knock them down to 1 HP, but you will need that follow-up Storm to finish him off. Now, it looks like IdrA's going to be aggressive here. Might not work out too well for him, though. It looks like we do have the Templar dropping Storms on the Hydras and the Roaches. LeiYa is going to be forced to pull back a little bit, but the army here, especially with the number of force fields that she has, is going to do a pretty good job. Does not want those Templar in front. Looks like most of the Hydras are going to be melted away. There's good numbers here for IdrA, but the force fields are very, very good for LeiYa, and the Immortals are just ripping apart the Roaches while the High Templar and Zealots take care of the rest. There's a very good hold there. We see in the units lost tab, the Zerg is very far behind. Now, LeiYa can't really push here. I mean, she can, but I think IdrA... Oh, actually, as a matter of fact, if you take a look at the army supply, LeiYa actually has a lead, and those 3/3 upgrades are going to be huge. I was going to say without that Templar energy, she might want to hang back a little bit, but 3/3 to 2/1 quantity is not going to be quality in this case, I don't think. I mean, there's a ton of Immortals here. We're going to have to see. Doesn't have any Storms, though. The Roach is going to come right back up, but where are the Hydralisks? Looks like they're coming around the back. They're going to be cut off by these Zealots. Not the best engagement for IdrA, but I'm not sure if he could have gotten a better one against this army supply. These Immortals are absolute heroes, and there it is. I was going to say GG, but IdrA actually just left the game. But I'll say GG for him. GG. Very, very well played by LeiYa. We actually see a massive warp into the main at the end there, so she was attacking on all fronts, and sniping that lair really sealed the deal for her. It was kind of lucky, but it was a calculated drop. Of course, IdrA was all the way across the map, and LeiYa went for the warp in. So that's going to be the end of this game, guys. I will try to get more and more Heart of the Swarm games up. Don't worry. Let me know if you definitely want to see Heart of the Swarm games, or if you're okay with seeing a few more Wings of Liberty. I need your feedback to know what to upload. And, of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate your viewership. I'll see you at the next cast. Word up.